Current Events in Education by Sonia Ambris Garza and Jania Espinosa. Article 1. Teenagers on their hopes and fears for a second Trump administration by The Learning Network. Published January 30, 2025. A variety of students' perspectives regarding Donald Trump's comeback to the presidency are presented in the article, displaying a wide spectrum of aspirations and worries. Many teenagers, especially those from unprivileged communities or immigrant families, express worry about gender rights, immigration restrictions, and climate change. For instance, Elliot feels insecure because of possible limitations on gender-affirming care, while Evelyn fears mass deportation. Some, such as Liam and Amelia, are hopeful because they think Trump's plan will improve the economy and coincide with their own ideas. Students from the other countries, like Alex from Seoul, have conflicted opinions about American foreign policy and how it affects international relations. As they think about the possible results of these new terms, students' replies exhibit a mixture of uncertainty, fear, and cautious hope. Article 2. 11 Critical Issues Facing Education at Home and Abroad in 2025 by Peter DeWitt and Michael Nelson. Published January 5, 2025. 11 urgent concerns in education are listed in the article, such as social media's influence, teacher attribution, mental health, and literacy. A global concern in teachers' retention, as evidenced by OECD data that indicates. The authors also highlight the significance of Tier 1 instruction for all pupils, students, and talk about the global drop in math and literacy skills. The article also highlights the expanding impact of AI in education and the urgent need to treat students' mental health in light of their elevated anxiety levels. What are the 11 critical issues facing education and abroad in 2025? Departments of education in other nations are keeping an eye on the situation, as some leaders, including former President Trump, seeks to abolish the U.S. Department of Education. Number 2, teachers' attrition. More teachers are learning their positions, and many of them intend to do so before they retire, which has an impact on education across the globe. Number 3, teachers' collaboration. Altogether, although they don't always collaborate deeply and meaningfully, teachers do work together. Teaching and learning could be enhanced by greater collaboration. Number 4, principal attrition. Due to excessive workloads, many principals are thinking of quitting, which will have a negative impact on schools' leadership down the road. Number 5, math proficiency. Students aren't learning enough of the foundational abilities they need to succeed, and math scores have declined globally. Number 6, Tier 1 instructions. The term Tier 1 instructions, which refers to the fundamental excellence instructions that all students get, is difficult for schools to define. What are the 11 critical issues facing education and abroad in 2025? Part 2. Number 7. Literacy proficiency. Adults and students alike are becoming less proficiency readers, which could lead to serious issues on the road. Number 8. Mental health. A lot of students experience anxiety or sadness, and because the problem frequently turns into political controversy, it isn't being resolved. Number 8. Social media. Students' use of social media is increasing their anxiety levels and having a detrimental impact on their brain function. Number 10, parent choice. Whether or not parents should have more control over where their children attend school is a topic of much discussion. Number 11, artificial intelligence AI. Options on whether AI is beneficial or detrimental in schools are divided, particularly when it comes to cheating and learning personalization.
Article 3. Education Stories We're Watching in 2025 by Meltzer E. The article lists multiple issues that are being presented to schools due to politics, lower enrollments, financial issues, teacher shortages, technology in classrooms, and racial equality in education. Political influence on education. The article outlines how a potential second term for Trump can lead to less federal oversight of education. With Trump as president, there can be shifts towards more local control of education, particularly with regards to curriculum and political issues. This means that federal directives and mandates on issues such as standardized testing, school finance, and curriculum content can be less specific. Trump has also stated that he would like to ban teaching certain topics in schools. Several Republican-governed states have passed laws restricting the instruction of critical race theory, also known as CRT, to other topics related to race, gender, and social justice. The laws have significant implications for teachers because they constrain the ways in which teachers structure race-based conversations about historical injustices and inequality in the classrooms. Race equity and curriculum restrictions. The restrictions mentioned in the previous slide affect the race equity in schools as it would limit what schools are allowed to teach or cover. These restrictions are intended to reflect changes in political parties, Republican states, and their attempts at withholding any discussions around racism systemic, white privilege, and even history. It is further used during school activities on the impact of slavery and segregation on America in general. This would limit what the children will know. It will stop them from being taught important topics that happened throughout America's history. Financial struggles in schools. End of federal pandemic relief funding. As noted in the article, the expiration of pandemic-related funding in 2025 will loom around school budgets held hostage by the federal government. Most districts applied these funds to cover the majority of incurred costs associated with the pandemic, even technology upgrades and health safety initiatives. Now that ends to these federal funds followed, it would put the schools to some hard budgeting decisions that might include employee layoffs and cuts on extracurricular activities or services. School closure due to financial strain. The article says the financial pressures brought on by declining enrollment and underfunding are leading to school closures in districts worldwide, particularly in urban areas. When the schools lose funding, districts are forced to close under-enrolled schools to cut costs at the expenses of students, teachers, and communities. Denver and Columbus are already experiencing the impact, and there has been anxiety over how students who have been disrupted from education will be able to maintain access to quality education. An example I could use that is local is Cromack Elementary and Castañeda Elementary merging together because other schools like IDEA that has more funding was taking the majority of the students, so they didn't have that much enrollments, so they merged together to form a bigger school. Key ideas of the articles. Article 1. In this article, teenagers are preoccupied with political developments, particularly with regards to civil rights and freedom of expression under a potential second Trump term. Students are calling for changes in the curriculum that will attend to their democracy and social justice issues. The article underscores the generation divide on social matters, stressing the critical role of schools in instilling critical thinking and civic engagement. As future teachers, it will allow us to create inclusive classrooms that will empower students to communicate, and ready them for active participation in society. Article 2. This piece puts the spotlight on the world inequalities in education, particularly in developing regions, and the increased necessity of catering to students' mental well-being. It focuses on how mental issues caused by the pandemic need a strong support network within schools. The piece further talks about how technology becomes more integrated into learning processes, and schools need to provide equitable access to technology while keeping students active. These issues are worth doing because they highlight the importance of creating inclusive, supportive learning environments and adapting to technology advances to meet a variety of student needs. Article 3. Mettler's article discusses the political shifts likely to impact education during a potential Trump presidency. For curriculum control revision to the expansion of school choice policies. It also mentions the budgetary concerns that will plague numerous schools once federal pandemic recovery funds run out, leading to potential school shutdowns and reductions in resources, most particularly in underfunding districts. In addition, the frequent teacher shortage due to burnout and low wages recognize the urgent need for education reforms. These lessons are essential because they equip future educators to the resilient, resourceful, and champions of equitable education.